something I did on there. Can you read those?
Yeah, I can read them. Okay, I think we're live here.
Oh, boy.
Ready to rock and roll.
No turning back now.
All right. We good? I think we're good. I think we're good here. We had a little bit of a...
There we are.
All right, so welcome. hey, welcome everybody to our first live Wayne's World Billy Dietrich studio here.
Ahoy.
Ahoy. Happy New Year's. And like I said, this is episode numero uno.
That means one.
One. And bear with us because we're learning as we go. It's our first time. Heather's been working really hard at getting everything set up. And it's a work in progress. So if something kind of gets off track here, keep in mind it's our first time.
It's Bill's fault.
It's my fault. But, I mean, it could be my fault. I did touch the mics and zip tied the cord and everything to the mic here. But anyway, welcome back. Welcome in. Hello. Nate, how are you?
I'm stupendous.
Nate.
How do I sound?
You sound like...
Sultry?
How do you sound?
I don't know. Bill?
You sound wonderful, Nate.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, Happy New Year to everybody. I appreciate you tuning in. We actually went to Nate's house last night and had a little New Year's Eve party.
Yep.
And kind of low key. Everybody hung out and had a good time. And
there was a werewolf.
There was a werewolf sighting.
Werewolf sighting in Lake Mead.
Yep. I was quite terrified.
So was I. It was kind of scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
So we had to throw something out there to get rid of it.
Especially when the werewolf came in the house.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
It's kind of scary. But what happened there?
I don't know. Some little kid was out in the side yard, and next thing you know, I hear wild screaming and a werewolf running through my yard, and I don't know. It's just craziness.
What do you mean you don't know?
I'm not saying. I can't tell you. I'm not taking any blame for this.
Okay. I don't. So anyway, we had a good time. Nate and Courtney were gracious hosts. Appreciate that. And anyway, I hope everybody's having a great New Year's Day. And like I said, we're trying something new here, and I hope everybody likes our setup. And we're going to just discuss what's going on in the racing world, what's new with us, and all the other news that's kind of surrounding the area here and our race team.
Try to answer some questions.
If you got anything, send them in for sure, and we'll get to them.
PG.
Then. And yeah, so just to give everybody an update on what we've been doing with the race shop, the race team, and during this off season, we've been working in the shop pretty much every week. And we've had our typical shop night, and we've been able to get we're going to have a spare car this year, which we haven't really had in the last several years. We got that pretty much as complete as it's going to be. No, it's not 100% complete. It's, what do you say, probably 85, 90%. Yeah. It's a roller, so that's exciting. We're going to have a spare car this year. It's not lettered, but it's rolling. It's going to be there if we need it in a hurry. From night to night, it won't take us long to get it ready. So that car is done, put away, and now we're on to our primary car, which is we got a brand new chassis for this year, which we haven't had in probably 2 seasons.
The other one was kind of bent. Yeah,
we bent the other one last year. We finished the year with a bent car, but that's the way it goes. So new car, we're getting there and waiting on. I had to get some parts ordered in, which I didn't have. A little bit of a wait on some of the parts, but the parts will be in this week, so we can get that finished up and complete the car. And then once we get that done, we'll be on to getting it lettered.
I heard there's going to be rainbow on the car.
Rainbow on the car.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I did see a possible rendering of a rainbow.
Yeah,
on the car. But
Makes
I
you
had
wonder, doesn't it?
I had to tell Nate, even though it was his favorite design, we're not going to do that.
So flashy.
So flashy.
Makes you wonder.
No rainbows on the car. I mean, it could always change, but
Dude, no.
But as you've seen probably in other videos, we're going with a red frame this year. So that's different. It's kind of changed up our design, our scheme a little bit. Zach Barber, he's been working on getting us a good rendering of the car. So we're getting real close to having that done. We're just finalizing some sponsorship stuff. And hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have all that buttoned up. Zach will be probably lettering the car by the end of the January. And then before you know it, it'll be race season. Are you ready?
I don't know, dude.
I mean, how long has the off season been for you?
Not long enough.
Not long. Not long. The off season never lasts that long, even though it seems like it should, but it doesn't.
No.
But so that's the update on the race car. If you've been following along, the last video we did, I mentioned about us trying to expand our schedule some, possibly moving to some more races, at Port Royal, maybe the Grove, some of the other tracks in the area. Our motor program was a little bit geared towards Lincoln. We were a little behind on some of our stuff, but since then we've had some developments within the last week or so here. Thanks to my brother, he was working on a project, and then he decided to go a different way. And then I'm going to kind of benefit from that. He's got a pile of parts, I should say, motor parts that I'm going to be able to purchase from him, and we're going to put a whole motor together.
So you're saying Danny Dietrich has a heart?
Danny Dietrich has a big heart.
Geez, there's some news for you, isn't it?
Man,
who'd have thought?
Well, I mean, I see all sides of Danny.
All sides?
Well,
I mean, you said it.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go in any details, but I am the older brother.
You are.
By 7 years.
Don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that people might walk up. People walk up to me and Heather at the track.
It's very awkward.
And they're like, oh, well, first of all, they were like, are you related to Danny? I'm like, no, he's related to me.
Just from the waist up.
He's I'm his older brother. And then they're like, oh, I didn't. Or they'll be like, oh, you look much younger than Danny. And I'm like, well, thank you.
It's all the hard work he puts in.
That's right. I do work out quite a bit. I try and keep myself looking in tip-top shape. And just so everybody can see here, I got my Piper's Pit shirt on. First episode. Kind of like,
I was holding off.
I wanted to wear the Piper coat, but I was told that was too much for this episode.
With nothing under it?
No, with the whole outfit. But anyway, so
that would have been awesome.
Maybe down the road we'll get into that. So
I mean, if you go shirtless, I'll go shirtless.
I won't be going shirtless ever.
I'm not scared.
So for all you WWF fans out there, I know some of you are watching because you comment all the time. You send me messages. You'll know what I mean. Piper's Pit with the leather. I'm gonna call it the police coat.
Yeah, back when wrestling was good.
Back when wrestling was good, but yeah. So back to Double D. He's helping me out. We're gonna be able to improve our motor program significantly, I think. We're going to build a motor that's going to be, I'm going to say, more modern, more current stuff. My stuff was kind of a little bit on the older side, and the performance was definitely down a little bit on that. But Don Ott, we're going to take all the stuff over there. He's going to put it all together. We're going to get it dynoed. And
run in a race, then take it back.
I hope not. But
too much.
It shit happens, right? I mean, you never. I mean, it always happens. It happens to everybody. But that's the update on the motor thing. We're building another motor, planning on expanding our schedule some, which I'm excited about too.
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna get back to the Grove some more, and depending on how all the schedules work out, we'll plug in some other races in there too. So, yeah. How's your schedule looking?
Open.
Well, I got a cheat sheet here because I've been making notes for a couple weeks because we knew that we were going to be doing this video. So I'm just kind of, not that I'm nervous. But I know you're nervous.
It's way different.
Is it?
Yeah. Just waiting to see some of these questions.
Yeah. Also, let's get talking of schedules here. We'll just hit on that real quick. I think most of the schedules are out, with the exception, I think, of Sealands Grove and BAPS. I think BAPS put their schedule out yet, at least for the 410 races. But I think we kind of got most of the dates figured out along the way. And I come up with roughly around 50 races, give or take. Of course, that's kind of a floating schedule. It could change on the fly at any time. We don't race for points anywhere, and wow, I shouldn't say that. Last year we did kind of race for points at BAPS, but that was a 10 race series.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. I'm kind of excited to get to other tracks than PA.
Yeah.
I've never been to another track other than Pennsylvania, Hagerstown. But other than that, I've never been anywhere else.
Where do you want to go?
You name it.
You just want to hit the road.
Let's do something. I'll rent another car. We'll letter it up. We'll do some donuts, burnouts. Just haul ass west.
You want to go west? Well, it could happen. It could happen. Well, speaking of that, first of all, I want to go back to something I said about BAPS, and they had a 10 race series last year. I want to give a big shout out to BAPS. I know a lot of the tracks don't get the appreciation that I feel like they really should. And I know we're probably all guilty. I know I am too at times, being frustrated with some of the tracks and how they handle things. But BAPS had like I said, a 10 race. They did not count. I think it was 10 races. Don't hold me to that. It was either 10 or 12 races. They did not include the Outlaws show, which I thought was great, towards the points for the overall season. Anyway, they paid out really good. So shout out to BAPS. And I think it was RV four-wheel drive, off-road RV. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. In Mechanicsburg.
They sponsored Danny. They sponsored some other cars. They sponsored that point series as well. Paid out great for a 10-race series. Some of the tracks maybe ought to take some notes from that.
And the way they're doing, like, the maintenance and changing it around. When I was a little kid growing up around there, that place was a dump. They've changed it a lot. Like, it's way nicer than what it used to be. Way nicer. Yeah,
for sure. Colton and Scott and everybody involved has done a great job with revamping the whole facility.
Right.
And they're building a new track there for the micros, 600 track. So
I mean, there were some hiccups there from what I remember, like something with the way everybody restarted or something, but they seem to like try to fix it. They're not just blowing you off. They seem to kind of want to fix it and make it better.
Yeah. So shout out to them. I appreciate you for what you did for the 410 class this year. And like I said, and they were prompt too. We got to pay out the check for the points real quick. Appreciate that. So shout out to them. I wanted to mention that before, but I wanted to hit that topic quick here. And back to the schedule, since Nate wants to go west. Not saying for sure it's going to happen.
Or south.
Or south. Well, that's problem. I don't know if we're going to go south because there's not much racing south other than Hagerstown, unless you go way south.
Yeah.
We're not going that far south of the border. But I have looked at the other schedules in the area. I'm super intrigued with the 4-race weekend at the Maverick Series has out in Indiana. I know it would be something totally different for us. We've never gone out that area, but I would love to be able to hit that if all this comes together like it is and we have the equipment and we're running good. I'd like to go out there and possibly hit that. I think it's Lincoln Park, Bloomington, Hobstadt, and then Terre Haute.
What month's that in?
That's in June.
June.
Between Ohio Speed Week and PA Speed Week.
People are commenting, come to Ohio Speed Week.
Come to Ohio Speed Week. Well, that's a hot topic as well. We'll touch on that real quick here too. But back to the Maverick thing, just to finish that up. That would be a cool trip in my mind. I'm going to tell you why. Because when I was younger, it's going to sound funny, but when the PS2 game came out, sprint car game.
Yep, I still have it.
You still have it? So do I. You could go to Terre Haute.
Yep.
And you could go to Bloomington.
Yep, that's in the game.
So to me, I always thought it'd be cool to go to some of them tracks and actually race.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of penciled in on our schedule, that 4-race weekend, and we'll see how that goes. And along with that, we got there's a weekend trip to Pennsboro, West Virginia, which is
where's that?
It's like southwest,
way
southwest West Virginia.
Man,
that sound right?
It's way out there.
Yeah, it's pretty far out there, but
they even have electricity there.
I'm not sure. I know there's not many hotels around that area. You could pitch a tent.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sleeping in your tent.
Hey, at least we know we can.
You and Cooper can share a tent.
Cooper's tent's not up in the morning. Remember? That's all I'm saying about that.
Oh, Cooper, I hope you're watching. You know Cooper Adams.
Yeah,
Ask him.
Clinton
Okay.
County legend.
He's a legend, all right. He's a legend in his own mind. Anyway, back to that. So that's I've kind of penciled that in there as well, but that's the last weekend of PA Speed Week, so we'll see how that's going. And then the Western PA Speed Week's always intriguing to me. I've never been to Pennsylvania Motor Speedway or Sharon. I wouldn't mind hitting both of them and then possibly going back out for the Lou Blaney Memorial at Sharon I believe it's in August. So
Is that where we went the other year?
we went to Lernerville the other year.
And then the other two.
We went to Dog Hollow. Yeah.
Yeah, way out there.
Yeah. So
I wonder what happened on that trip.
The other one was the Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain, yes, we did go to Thunder Mountain. I believe Thunder Mountain is closed. I think again, but
What happened on that trip?
the Dog Hollow trip.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Heather took a spill. She tumbled. She got upside down in the room. I had nothing to do with it, and she chipped her tooth. But she's all fixed up now. You probably saw the video. If not, check it out. It's the Lernerville / Dog Hollow Western PA video.
Where I was doing burnouts in the gas station.
He was doing all kinds of crazy shit on that trip. But to Heather's question from the chat, the Ohio Speed Week looks like it's shaping up to be pretty good. There for a while, it was looking pretty dismal. I know Danny is fully involved in that because he's been going out there for several years. It used to be Sweeney Chevrolet on the car. Now it's number one Cochran. Derek Snyder's involved with that. And he's going, so that I will not be attending that, although it looks like fun. It'd be a long weekend, or I think it's 9 days. It's either 9 or 10 days straight this year. There's no break.
You'd have to shut the whole shop down.
Yeah, we'd have to shut the whole shop down. That's just not in the cards. Danny's kind of got rights to that, I would say. It's kind of his deal there. And I get it. It's his sponsor, and that he's going to be out there for that too. So I'll be at the shop working that week, which is fine with me. It's all right.
Rebuilding rear ends.
I'll be selling tires and building rear ends and whatever else needs done. But so that's kind of the latest on the Bill Dietrich Racing side of thing, the number 8 car. We got a lot going on and a short amount of time left. I think
a month.
Yeah, a little over, basically 2 months till February 24th. 24th and 25th is the icebreaker at Lincoln. That'll be our first race of the year, weather permitting, of course. Heather's so excited. She's over here making all kinds of...
She's back here doing push-ups.
Heather loves racing. She actually does.
I think deep down.
She
doesn't want to admit it.
And Heather, you're looking really pretty today. She's producing the whole show.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
That's why we sound so good.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Blank Willow.
Yo ves Ramon, huh?
No.
All right, we're getting off track here. Straighten up, Nate. What's your koozie say?
I don't know. Big number 3.
Number 3, riding with the legend.
I got more koozies, but I didn't bring the bad ones. Well, now they're not bad, but...
Yeah, Nate's got a fresh shipment of koozies in, courtesy of...
Chris Frank.
Ashley Frank.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Ashley Frank.
Ashley Dowdy. Courtesy of Ashley
Both
and
of
Chris.
them, man. Both of them.
Yeah. Anyway, back to what I... Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of that, if anybody's watching, I had nothing to do with his front license plate on his car. That's all I'm saying if people are watching.
Well,
I just want to put that out there. I had nothing to do with it.
Well, I just want to... I guess I got to explain a little bit of this.
Well, yeah.
Well, what?
Yeah. I didn't do this.
You sure?
I did not.
You had nothing to do with it.
So if Wanda Dietrich is watching, I didn't put it on his car.
All right.
All I'm saying.
Here's the story. It was this past week. I was obviously working, and Danny was working. We were both quite occupied at the shop, and a certain individual showed up that Nate sponsors.
Yep. So that night, it was his night at the track. Remember when they sponsored it at Williams Grove? And we were handing his stuff out. And I started calling you BDB Dietrich when we were handing stuff out. And then he kind of ran with it and made this license plate for you to put on your car.
All right, so Chris Frank, which we all know he's Heather's favorite rat. I don't know if you can see this or not. If you can see that. BDB, which,
Just read the bottom.
Just read the bottom. He put it on my car. I did not notice it was on there. I left the shop. It was dark. I drove all the way around, and I actually drove back to work the next day. So 2 days I drove around without this.
He knew it was on there.
No, I didn't.
He was just cruising around Biglerville, just balling.
And Chris Frank thought it was hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Seth knew.
Seth knew.
The one that's joining the Marines. Seth.
Yeah. So my stepmother happened to walk by my car and say in a text message, "Hey, I liked your old license plate much better than your new one." And I'm like, well, I don't even know what I responded, I don't know what you're talking about. And before me finish yet, she said something to the reference of, it looks like something Nate would have done.
Didn't do it.
So Nate caught the blame for that right away. So
had nothing to do with it.
2 days I drove around that license plate in the front of my car to thank you, Chris Frank.
It's awesome.
I got 2 words for you. Degeneration X.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we can say it.
Okay, well, that was our good laugh for the week. Thanks to.
It's pretty legit.
It's
a nice license plate.
Is it sublimated? I think it's a well done plate. So if you need a license plate, just get hold of Chris Frank. There you go. He's not busy.
It would have been cool if he made the eyes like something else.
Oh boy! All right, well, so let's go. I kind of finished there with Lincoln is our first race in 2024. A hot topic in the area. If you're local, I'm sure you've heard about it. If not, you're going to hear about it now. It's been the no flagman in the stand at Lincoln Speedway in 2024. We hit on this a little bit probably a month ago or so, and I believe it was might have been a Facebook Live at the shop. I think it was. Me and Danny talked about it. And then just to give a little backstory on that, the rumor was going around that Glenn, the flagman, was no longer going to be the officiating at Lincoln, which he also does the Grove. He's the flagman at the Grove in Lincoln. And then after our video had ended, I got a phone call from Glenn that night or the next day, and just to let me know that he did not get fired. He quit. Don't know the backstory there. I don't know what all took place behind the scenes. Other than I'm sure there was obviously some. Maybe they weren't seeing eye to eye on things. I don't know the whole story. We can get into that, my view on some stuff a little bit later. Now, since then, the word was the next thing was they're not going to replace the flagman. We're not going to have a flagman. So then everybody's like, what's going on here? How are we going to race without a flagman? A lot of people were upset, including myself. My initial thought was, I don't agree with this. This is a bad move. There were some drivers that I talked to that said, well, if this is going to be the case, you're not going to see me at Lincoln.
You're just going to put lights there?
Well, I'm going to get into that. So we found out last week. I found out through my brother. Danny had talked to Jerry at Lincoln about this particular issue. And along with this issue, he had an issue with some of the calls coming from the tower on starts and restarts. If you've been following along with our journey throughout 2023, I got boned big time several times, including the last race of the year at BAPS, which different person calling the starts and restarts at BAPS, but we'll get into that later. But back to the flagman, no flagman situation. They're going to use I'm not going to call it, it's like a digital board, kind of like they have in the infield, like a Jumbotron-ish style. I don't know the size, but it's going to, obviously it's not going to be a Jumbotron, but it's going to be like a video board mounted on either on the flag stand or in that area there. I would imagine.
What if something flies up and hits it?
Well, I don't have that answer.
And you see how well the scoring tower works.
Well, so that's that's going to be a debate also.
The tower didn't work half the year.
Well, yeah, the scoring tower.
Right. So
right.
like what are they gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do there, but so they're gonna have a board, a digital screen there that is going to somehow communicate with the driver as far as let me back up 1 second. As a driver, let me just tell you, everybody, from my perspective as a driver, and if you're a driver out there and you're watching this, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. For me, it's just like routine. I don't even think about it, but I glance at that Flagman. I'm going to say probably 20 out of 25 laps, if not more, during a 25-lap feature. I mean, obviously, if you're racing hard with someone you can't see it, that's one thing. But, it's just you come off the fourth turn. For me, it's just normal just to, like, peek up there quick, and then you're like, boom, boom, back down your racing, whether it be 2 to go, halfway,
right,
move over flag, one or the other. For me, I just consciously look up there and check out the Flagman. Now, go ahead.
So, like, if you're driving and they do the halfway or 2 to go, say the thing stops working and there's 2 laps to go, how are you going to know that?
Well, that's a good question.
I mean, now with the dude there, the only thing, what if he dies? You're not going to know, but he's standing there.
Right.
Like, you're going to know.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to know?
Well, that's a very good question.
Well, you just keep going? Or
well, I guess
how are they going to do move over? Were they going to put like a little freaking arrow that points over? Like, what are they going to do?
I don't know either.
Like,
that's a good question. The Flagman had a lot of control. In other words, you could see a lot of instruction from Flagman. The more you race, obviously you picked up, he could be pointing directly at you and you would know it. I don't know how that's going to correlate now. Obviously it's not going to. Here's another point that maybe some people don't know is while we are racing, we do have our receiver radios, which is one-way communication from the tower or whoever. The Flagman does not talk to us while we're racing, nor does whoever's doing the communication. The only time they key the mic is we're going, yellow or red.
Would you be able to hear him when you're running?
Well, yeah, you can hear him. If they key the mic and say yellow,
you'll hear it even when you're under full power. Like
right.
Full
and you also, obviously, you're looking at the flags. I don't know how that's going to work moving forward. I will say that I feel a little better about knowing that there's going to be something there versus nothing.
I'm intrigued.
Too.
I want to know what it's going to look like.
So I guess the question, well, how is this going to work? How are you going to control this with one person in the tower? And I guess the response was they're going to have up to 3 people in the tower. One person, I don't know, maybe one person is going to run the lights, run the board. I don't know how that's going to work for sure. Maybe they don't even know either yet until they get into it. I do know that when they call yellow, or whether it be a corner flagman or somebody in the tower, if they called yellow over the radio, it had to go from that person that saw the yellow to the flagman, and then they had to hit the
flagman hit the button.
Hit the button. Well, with that being said, I guess this would be, you would cut out that whatever it might be.
As long as they're paying attention.
A little bit of time, reaction time, which would be a good thing, because there are times where maybe they see an accident or somebody spins out and it takes, even if it takes a second or 2 seconds, that's a lot of distance when you're racing to cover, to slow down or whatever. But so that's a hot topic going on. I'm feeling a little better knowing that there's going to be something there. I don't know how for sure it's going to work. Like, to your point, what happens if
something hits it?
If something hits the tower or hits that screen and breaks it, I don't know. They probably have thought about this, I would hope.
You'd be surprised what people don't think about.
It's going to be a bit of a trial and error, I think. So,
we'll see in February.
We're going to find out. This has been the last probably month has kind of been a lot of a buzz, at least with people coming into our shop and talking about the Flagman situation. I will say that Glenn did say he's going to be flagging at the Grove. So as of now, this is the only track that I'm aware of that's going to be doing this. But maybe if it works out for the better, maybe this is going to be the thing in the future. With this, my other thoughts are, as a spectator, that was always one of the things you watched.
Yeah.
Like, you watched the Flagman.
Because you can't really follow it sometimes, so you look and be like,
Yeah.
oh, well, there's halfway. Or
You watch just to watch the Flagman. It was like, I don't want to say entertaining, but like when I was a kid, you watched the Flagman. I even think my brother, when he was younger, had a whole set of flags he took with him.
Go figure.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure.
Did he always give himself the checkered?
Well, maybe. He is number one.
Yeah.
But you think about the kids in the stands.
They have little kids that do it all the time,
They
man.
sit there, third or fourth row back, and they watch the Flagman.
They bring their own flag. They
Bring
do
their
it all
own
the way.
flags, and that's like their whole purpose of being there. I feel like is like maybe to be a flagman someday.
I mean, hey, whatever.
But
Crushing kids' dreams.
yeah, so I kind of feel like that's a little bit of a disappointment there. When it comes to that
don't
side
like
of
it.
things, you don't like it.
I don't like it. Too much can go wrong.
Yeah,
Technology's good, but when it doesn't work, you're kind of screwed.
that's true. That's true. And the one thing that I can tell you for sure that I don't want is I don't want somebody keying that mic and talking while we're racing. That's a super, super distraction. You know what I mean? You're racing, all of a sudden we're trained to not have anybody. We're trained for radio silence, and when you hear something, it's almost automatically you just like
throws you off.
It throws you off. You lift. When they key the mic, that's like something's up. Something's up. Whether it's yellow or red, something's up.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, man, I'd probably turn a little more left.
Yeah. You're a little sideways.
Yeah.
There. A little more throttle.
Yeah, hey, man.
I'm just glad that you're not talking to me while I'm racing too. By the way,
I just probably stop doing what you're doing. Yeah, I also work the Wax Cooper now. I just check the stick for him.
it takes two guys. How many guys does it take to check fuel on a race car?
Apparently a lot. The stick's taller than he is.
Hey, I got you a new fuel stick this year.
Oh, God.
So it's pretty foolproof.
So was the last one.
No, didn't seem.
We
like
never
it.
ran out of fuel.
That's true. Only
Just saying.
Only hiccuped a couple times.
And that's when I put a little more in than you tell me.
No.
Let's imagine that.
Yeah.
How about Heather?
Well, that's what's going on with the flagman / no flagman situation at Lincoln. I'm sure there's way more input out there than what I just gave you as far as pros and cons. But that's what I know as of right now, and that's kind of how I feel about the whole situation.
I don't like it.
Nate doesn't like it. I didn't like it either at first. The fact that they're going to do something makes me feel a little better. But
And it's not even like easing into it. It's like, boom, this is the way it, like, how about we give it a little trial or something?
Yeah.
Or like figure it out, not just
that's true too. You could almost put the board up there and try it during under regular conditions and
something, see how it works.
Yeah, I don't know of anybody else that does this. So if you're out there and if you've raced with a digital board, some kind of board versus a flagman,
Icebreaker, imagine.
yeah,
Oh, hot laps.
comment below. Let me
Something
know what
hits
you
it, and
think.
we're sitting there for 4 hours while they fix the freaking flag board.
Don't say that.
Be sitting there like, oh, this is a great idea.
This is Heather's worst fear: sitting at the racetrack longer than she has to.
I'll just be tanning up on the roof of the trailer.
You're going to be tanning.
Hell yeah. It's new me.
Well, that's what's happening with Lincoln. That's kind of been the latest buzz there. There's kind of been the biggest news around Central PA lately, as silly as it sounds, is the flagman.
That and
Somebody said, hi Bill, that Flagman computer deal is already up and running in Perth,
Australia.
Oh,
in Australia.
okay. So they're already using it in Australia, which I did not know that. So that,
Somebody else said tracks in Australia have it, and I heard the drivers love it.
well, hey, here's maybe the one of the other pros of this whole deal would be, obviously, it would eliminate the risk of somebody getting injured in the flag stand. Now, knock on wood, I have seen stuff go up there and, you hit the flag stand and what have you. I've never seen anybody, knock on wood, like I said, get hurt up there, but you figure you're in the middle of straightaway.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good time.
It's not it's a scary place to be. I mean, them guys are brave. So, if they're using it in Australia, it tells me somebody did their research. It's good.
Yeah.
So
We'll find out.
we'll find out soon enough. But I feel a little better knowing I didn't know they were doing that over there. But all right, so moving along, we hit on the local stuff. I think that's pretty much all the local stuff as far as track news goes. We're waiting on.
I can give you a couple questions here.
Yeah, Heather's got some questions for us.
Somebody asked, since you have a second car, are you getting a new trailer? Repeat the question.
So somebody asked if since we have a spare car, a second car, we're going to have a new trailer.
I mean, if they want to buy it, right? We'll take whatever.
No, as of right now, we're not having anything new as far as the hauler goes. Having the same 2022 trailer with a 2003 F350 Ford Power Stroke diesel.
Yeah.
No,
Rides great in the back.
no stacker trailers. Good question, though. I mean,
Yeah, if we had to take one, I don't know how we do it.
yeah, we wouldn't have a spare car. So if we did some of these road trips, there wouldn't be any spare car. It'd just be
Maybe an engine.
what we got. So good question, though. But what else you got for us, Heather? Heather.
Somebody said Thunder Mountain, New York, question mark, is not closed. So maybe you want to.
So the question on which Thunder Mountain Speedway is closed, there is a Thunder Mountain in New York which is not closed. There's also a Thunder Mountain in, I want to say it's close to Du Bois, PA, or
Yeah, it's
somewhere
way out 80.
Way out 80 there. I believe that's the one that's closed. We were there in 20.
That was the first night, right?
Yeah.
Where those guys were getting in a fight in their trailer. and all that crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
I think that
Yeah.
was. No, that was the Thunder Mountain was the first time you went to Western PA. Well, you went with us. And then the next night we went to Sealands Grove.
Oh, okay. The year before.
The year before.
All right.
Thunder Mountain PA is the track that I believe is still
where the four wheeler is all that one. All
Where the
right.
four-wheeler left you sit.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, question for you.
Oh boy.
Somebody's got to repeat it. Is Nasty Nate a company or are you just a sponsor?
So the question is Nasty Nate Racing a company or are you just a sponsor?
I'm just a sponsor. Like, I'm not a company. I'm just kind of a guy that likes racing and just kind of put my money behind it. It's really how it started. Like, meeting Bill, I literally just walked up to him in the trailer and said, "Hi, I'm Nate."
That's
literally.
That's literally how it went. And then he continued to
Pester.
give me his sales pitch a little bit there.
Didn't take much.
Didn't take much. I make sure I could see where his hands were the whole time.
Yep.
And then when he left, I thought it was Nasty Boys
Yeah, like the
Racing.
race, like the WWF.
Yeah, I thought it was Nasty Boys Racing. So
Yeah, it's just me.
just
All
Nate.
right, Nate, more questions. How did you get the nickname Nasty Nate?
Oh boy.
So the question is, how did you get your nickname Nasty Nate?
Boy, I actually got it when I was in junior high. It was like 7th grade. How can I say this? Really didn't have any limits or stuff like that on who I would date. Does that make sense? I'm trying to do this PG here. It's kind of hard. It was about getting the reps in, not about the quality, and that's how it came up.
So I
Is
have
that kind of
What did it follow you through the military?
it followed me through the military, and just everybody just calls me Nasty Nate.
Wait. Who gave you the actual name, or did you come up with it
It was
yourself?
actually a dude named Brett Ziegler that gave
He
me
gave
that
you the
name.
name.
Yes.
He's like, dude, that's nasty.
And
Nate.
everybody, I'm like, hey, whatever. I'm not in it to win it.
Gotta get your reps in.
Another question.
Just get my reps in.
Nate, how's the wife?
The question is, Nate, how's the wife? How's Courtney doing?
The wife.
Tell her.
All right. Well, yeah, she's doing good. So she's basically kind of all healed up the wounds. She just puts little bandages on them, but she still is having trouble like getting around, walking and stuff. But considering it's only been 3 months and how bad it was, she's really good. But she still has trouble getting around. But other than that, she's healed really well. It's kind of crazy to think like how nuts it was and how big the wounds were. Now we just have little bandages on the wounds. So, yeah.
So the other part of that was how what big news did you and Courtney have for us this off season?
She told me she was a guy. No. No. What did you say?
I said you're dead.
I knew something was up.
No. We got engaged. That's the big
kidding,
news.
Courtney.
Just kidding, Courtney. I can see her beady eyes staring at the screen right now.
You're dead.
We got engaged. That's the big news.
Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't think you had it in you.
Well, we're not there yet.
I'm proud of you. Good job.
Yep.
All right, there we go. There is a heart in here and a softer side to Nasty.
There is.
It ain't just nasty.
Somebody commented, "Are you filming this from a flip phone? Quality is fuzzy, so maybe we want to talk about our capabilities and what they
Yep.
need us to."
Okay, so the question was, are we filming this from a flip phone? It's a little fuzzy.
There's coal in it.
We are, how do I want to say this? We're limited on the quality of the live with our setup here. That's one of the things like I said, we're kind of learning as we go here. You know, it's from the YouTube side of it. And our streaming software as well. I really don't know how else to answer that. No, we're not using the flip phone. We have our super expensive camera here, Canon camera, fancy lights, high tech background. These
Reminds me of back in '99.
What happened in '99?
Be careful what you tell your kids to do. That's all I'm going to tell you.
But no, we're doing the best we can. We do have a nice setup here, and it's just I think it's YouTube more than anything else. So.
How about, are you driving the 12 car?
Question is, am I driving the 12 car? The answer would be no. I quit driving the 12 car at the end of last season. As far as I know, Lance DeWeese is the current driver of the 12. He ran it the last couple of shows. Lance is a great driver. He's a Hall of Famer, which we all know. And I think he'll do just fine. So yeah, the 12 car, we had a good time racing it. It just didn't work out for us.
Is what it is.
Is what it is.
I saw that Chris Frank had a question here.
Oh,
Chris
here we
Frank has
go.
a question.
It's for Nasty Nate.
Question for Nasty Nate.
Nate, tell us about your controversial logo that some people won't run.
So the question is from Chris Frank to Nate. Tell everybody about your controversial logo that not everybody will put on their car.
All right. Well,
You could pull the thing.
So yeah, let me slide this Let me slide this back here a little bit.
maybe angle it back.
I'm sure you can see it, but there's a delay.
So the logo is right here on the side of the laptop.
So this logo I got from a military coin when I was in the military. So that's what I decided to put on my logo. So, what was it, 2 years ago? I was trying to get on an outlaw car. I'm not going to say who because I'm not rolling that way. But I gave him all the information, told him where it was from, what it meant. And I took him the money and a bunch of merchandise. And then when the car came out on the track, the logo wasn't on the car. So I called him up and was like, hey, why isn't the logo on there? And they said that they didn't feel comfortable putting a Grim Reaper on the car because it signifies death. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, we talked about this before I gave you the money. And they're like, well, how about we put like special thanks to Nathaniel Dacre? And I'm like, well, who's that? It's not Nasty Nate. And they said that they didn't feel comfortable putting the word nasty on the car either because there are families that come to the races. So that was the Outlaw team I tried to get on. And piggybacking off that, this year, I talked to another Outlaw team at Lincoln. And, I heard this guy was a good dude and likes to have a good time. And, he's a real fun dude. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do.
So I go up and talk to him, introduce myself, tell him everything about, me and what's going on. And I looked at the car. I was like, how do I get Nasty Nate on that car? How do I go about doing this? And he looks at me and he said, you have to know somebody that knows somebody. So that was another Outlaw fun thing I had happen to me.
So just shot down.
Shot down. Then there was another Outlaw team the year before. I think they're up in Washington. Blue 26.
Maybe.
I called. Is that where they're from?
Could be.
Called them, talked to them, never called me back. So
Big time.
pretty much done with the Outlaws. I'm going to stay with local people. So, yeah. It's kind of crazy.
I kind of think the logo looks cool.
I like it, yeah.
I mean, I really don't feel like it's offensive at all. It has a meaning to it, which
right.
you can't be like, if you're going to be that I'm gonna say shallow, right? Like to just be like, psh, I'm
Hey,
offended. Well, there's so many things that could offend everybody out there, right?
I think they're big timers. I think sometimes they forget where they come from, and
I 100%.
I'm just a dude that likes sprint car racing. Like, you don't know me from anybody. If I walk up to you, I could be worth $10 million. You don't know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not worth $10 million. I'm just telling you that. But like, so that's how I've gone with the Outlaws. Like, I'm not really impressed by the way they act.
Yeah. Well, I agree, and
I mean, that being said, they did send me my money back. They did.
that's true. Yeah, exactly.
They sent me my money back, but still, like,
They kind of led you on.
yeah, like what? Okay, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And they seem like, I don't know. You're gonna get me on a tangent here.
Yeah. Well, we'll just end it
with,
right
with
there.
like that. Why are they hiding their merch trailers? They hide in their trailers.
Well,
You see them
that's-
at Lincoln, they go in
yeah.
their haulers. Come out
Oh,
and
yeah.
talk to the fans. What are you doing?
That's true.
That's what it's all about, right? Like, the fans are what gets you going, got you there. Don't be a big timer.
Well, that's kind of like a whole nother debate. We can kind of like,
Right.
we'll touch on this real quick, and then we can go back to some questions if we have any more
Like, if they're
questions.
working on the car, I got it. But, like, you know,
The whole outlaw high limit thing. Well, let me get on this side of the mic here. The whole outlaw high limit thing. We
I'm watching myself. Sorry.
you watching yourself? Heather's over here directing us, which is good because we need lots of direction. But
Yeah, true that.
the whole outlaw high limit thing has been like a big discussion, obviously recently, and kind of to piggyback off what you're saying, how some of these, they're the outlaws, whatever. Like everybody kind of looks. I want to say you look up to them.
Right.
Does
Because
that make
everybody,
sense?
they're at the pinnacle of
Right.
the sport, kind
They're-
of, you know.
That's it. It's the
Right.
outlaws, and that's as far as you're going to go. I feel like now some of this is being exposed.
I love competition. Look
Yeah.
at them. Everybody's scrambling.
Yeah, and I don't want it to hurt the product in general, the whole, sprint car as a whole, sprint
Right.
car racing as a whole. But at the same time, when all this started to unravel, I was like, oh, this is not good. And then the more it came out, it's kind of like watching like, Law and Order when you find out all the clues, right? It's
Right.
like, wait a minute here. This is like, there's a lot more to this.
And if
than
they
what goes
split,
on.
people are still going to go to the high limit race or people are going to go to an outlaw race. Like, it's just two different series, but they're going to go to both.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like they're going to be losing out, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. It's not like you're not going to get to the races.
Nope. And the Outlaws run the show. Like, look at Lincoln. You pay for a parking spot. When the Outlaws come there, do we get our parking spot?
It's true.
They're coming to our back. They're coming to our yard. We ain't going to theirs.
Yeah.
We should get our parking spot.
I've always said this, and I'm going to stick with it. I feel like the world of outlaws needs us, Central PA, more than we necessarily need them.
Yeah, we don't need them.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they come here, but why do we have to
Cater to them.
cater everything to them? I get it. Like, like we just said, it's the premier series, but like, dude, we kind of do get crapped on in a lot of ways.
Can't sell merch.
Can't sell the merch, which I hate to keep harping on that, but it's a big deal. I mean, here's why I say it's a big deal. There are some fans that just come to see the Outlaws, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think
Yeah.
it's great. Like, there are people that'll just say somebody comes to Central Pennsylvania that week in May where they go to the Grove and they go to Lincoln, and maybe they go to New York after that. I don't even know where. Or maybe the other year they went to Bridgeport, I think. Just say somebody flew in from
California.
California. They wanted to go to all these racetracks and they wanted to buy a T-shirt, or maybe not. Maybe they just want to show up and they don't even know who they're going to buy a shirt from.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You're out in the middle of the parking lot with your hatchback popped up in the air,
They're not going to know that.
trying to sell your merch, and
Tell my view though that the regulars
yeah.
they're not interested because they can get your shit anyway.
Right. So Heather's view on this, which is a good view, is your regular Saturday night, Friday night fans are there every week. They're not going to buy your merch when the Outlaws come to town. They're going to buy.
Their budget might be $50.
Right. They're going to buy somebody's shirt that isn't there regularly.
Yeah.
So it's it's a couple ways of looking at it. Obviously, at the Grove, I guess the rules state, the outlaw rules state something along the lines of a minimum amount of races per year, then anybody and everybody can sell their merch, yada, yada, yada. that part does suck. Like Nate says, the parking situation, yes, we pay for the parking. It's X amount of dollars a year. You buy your spot. It's numbered. They come to town. You're booted out. You can park in the grass, park in the parking lot. They don't really care. It is what it is. It's disappointing. But, excuse me.
I mean, they don't do it with the season seats because I have those season seats.
Right.
When the Outlaws come, I still get my seats.
Yeah.
Why don't we still get our parking spot?
I don't know. The Outlaws run the show.
Yeah, well, I guess not anymore, do they?
Well, it's interesting now to see how all this is unfolding, and I'm kind of like, this is all right now because we're getting some of the details out there. Like these guys, I know I talked to some other very prominent 410 race car drivers in the country that have enlightened me on some of the inner workings of the Outlaws versus the high limits. And hey, the high limits, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing, is being very upfront and transparent with everything. I mean, if you're going to sign on,
This is what you're getting.
and you and I even know about it. If you read the press releases, hey, we're gonna have this charter system, whatever. But we're also going to have, you're going to get money from Flow Racing. You're going to get this much money. You're going to get this, and this. And you know what? You can race wherever you want to race.
That makes it even better.
Makes it even better. I get the Outlaws kind of had to protect their brand to a point, but it almost got to the point where it was almost like a stranglehold. I felt like
It's a monopoly.
You could say it like that too. So
Just like tires. You can only run one. Well, that's a whole nother thing.
yeah, well, that's a whole other thing, the whole tire thing. But high limit thing, outlaw thing. We'll see where it ends up a year from now. Obviously, the high limit to this point has far more drivers already signed up, and it'd be interesting to see how the Outlaws are going to fill them other spots. Maybe they don't even care to fill them. Maybe they're happy with the number they got. To me, it seems like they need some more cars on the tour to, I don't know, promote their series. Not that they don't have the names, but the high limit definitely has all the buzz.
Yeah.
Be interesting. See how it all shakes out. One thing that I hope it doesn't hurt, and maybe this is something that we, as a fan out there, when Central PA we have so much racing that I wonder sometimes if it's going to be too much for us, if it's going to be too much money. You know what I mean? To try and go to all these shows. You know what I mean? Like this show and then this show, and next thing you know, it's maybe it's $45 or $50 to get in. So on and so forth.
Is it more expensive to get into a high limit race?
I would imagine it'd probably be like going to an outlaw show. Yeah, but in other parts of the country, they don't have as much racing, so I can see where it'd be a super big benefit. If you're out in the wherever, say you're in Texas,
you get more races.
You get the opportunity to see more racing, so that'll be good for the sport.
Kind of spoiled around here.
Yeah,
sprint cars,
more exposure.
Yeah,
maybe more places for the Nast N8 logo.
Well. I think I pretty much have it narrowed down to where I'm sticking.
Well, we appreciate you, Nate. We appreciate you.
It's ridiculous.
Anyway, so that's what's going on there. But let me look through my notes here. I do have some. You got any more questions for us, Heather?
It's weird. He has put turn page at the bottom of his page.
I know some people have commented on some of the videos in the past, and I haven't. I read all the comments, but I don't respond to every comment.
It'd be impossible.
It's a lot of comments, but I'm thankful for all the comments.
And one of the fans that show up,
and the fans. Thank you for the fans that show up.
Crazy.
Obviously, you guys show up at the track. You don't always see me, but you almost always see Nate and Heather selling the merch. Or whatever Nate may be doing, riding somebody's scooter.
He never,
Tell him why he was selling merch.
Yeah. So Nate was out of commission for a while. What happened to you?
I had my neck fused. So I had 3 vertebrae fused in my neck. And then this coming February, I have to have another fusion done on my hinge point. So I'll be out of commission maybe for another 2 or 3 months after that. Hopefully that's it then, because I had my back fused. Now it'll be 2 neck fusions. Hopefully after this, I won't walk weird and
well, I'm not sure about that.
Maybe be able to get around. I don't know how better I'll be able to get around, but hopefully my hands don't tremor and I don't get all those weird feelings and stuff.
This is a part of being a veteran. Like, this is what happened to you. This is why you're a disabled veteran.
Yep, it's fun.
Yeah, so we appreciate your service, man.
I appreciate you, Bill.
All right, straighten up. All right.
So that's it. Yeah, I have neck things and back things going on.
Yeah, so keep Nate in your thoughts this February. We don't know the date just yet.
Send me flowers.
Might be able to, I know you had fun interacting with the fans, right?
Oh, I love interacting with the fans. That's probably like the highlight of going to the races. That's what I'm saying. Don't hide in your trailers. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's the highlight of going to the races.
Yeah, like the fan interaction with the team, right? Like,
I mean, I have real bad anxiety and I don't show it, but I still like interacting with the people. Like, it's fun. Like, you meet all sorts of people and it still just blows my mind. I'm just like a normal dude and people were like, Nasty Nate. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like at the trailer, do you ever never say no to people?
No, I mean, after the races are over, people come down all the time. We talk, we hang out, we drink a cold
like,
one.
It's different, like, if you're working on a car, most people are respectful of that. And then at the end or beginning of a race, there are people hanging around. Shit. Like, you know what I mean? You never turn down an autograph from anybody, especially a little kid.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
That's true.
I don't get it.
Too quick here, and we're at 55 minutes, so we'll wrap it up soon. But one person said, Billy, you need to do another video with your dad. I love the hunting story.
So the comment is, somebody commented in the chat that I need to do another video with my dad, that they love the hunting story. That's a great story. I have lots of stories with my dad. The hunting video story would have been when he shot at the deer and the deer went in the pond and landed.
Oh, that one. And it never was found?
They never found it. The deer jumped out of the pond. If you don't know, behind our family home there's a pond, I don't know, probably 100.
So the deer ran the whole way through the pond, right?
No, I guess the deer, he scared it into the pond. It jumped into the pond. It jumped out of the pond.
I remember this story, but I was like...
Yeah, so check it out. It's on the YouTube video. I would love to get my dad maybe even on the show here. Get him down here. We can talk about some old racing stories.
Ask him about the calendar in the shop and what he thinks about it every time he looks at it.
Nate is... what's funny about Nate is he doesn't like people that, uses graffiti in inappropriate places. Let's just say it like that.
Oops.
But Nate is the graffiti king over here. He's drawing names and pictures on the counters in the shops and
thinking about you, Dan.
Danny's favorite person here.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't me.
Yeah. So to piggyback off the hunting thing, real quick, that was one of my notes here. Was people were asking how the hunting season went for me. It went okay. I did end up I got a buck the second week of rifle season. Took Nate for his first time hunting deer.
Day.
We actually did a squirrel hunt prior to that with the Rack Daddies, so that was cool. We did the Rack Daddy Squirrel Classic.
If we do that next year, we're gonna have to be a little plan better.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
We just kind of were
flying
by the seat
it.
of our pants, but we had a good time. But we took Nate hunting, Seth went hunting. I'm the only one that got a deer. Nate saw a lot of deer, but didn't shoot any.
Yeah, I didn't have a doe tag.
But hunting season was all right. It wasn't terrible. So, Heather, you got some more questions for us?
Billy, how many brothers and sisters?
The question is, how many
that he
siblings
knows
do
of?
I have? I will just. It's like this. I have I have three.
2 hands.
I have 3 older half sisters, and then I have a sister, Michelle, and then I have obviously Danny's my younger half brother. Is that the right way to say it? Half brother, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I have a step sister, also Kirsten. So that would be a lot.
2 hands.
But
that's why you gotta talk to old man Dan. I'm telling you.
No, he
was getting his reps in too.
We got a large family, but it's all good. And I don't want to forget this. Also, on my stepfather's side, there's 2 step siblings there. Also, a brother and a stepbrother and a stepsister. So, yeah, that's a lot to keep track of.
Me.
Somebody asked for us to tell the story of how we met, but I think we'll have to wait for another. Maybe we'll do that.
Christian mingle.
Heather said there was a question about the story about how Heather and I met. We're gonna postpone that. Maybe Heather and I will do a show together, so we'll answer that then. Nate.
Oh yeah, what kind of show?
Wrong wording there.
Everybody.
I guess the other do you guys ever get out to the West Coast?
Question is, do we ever get out to the West Coast? I've never personally been to the West Coast in my life. The farthest west, non-racing related I've been to was Utah. I've been to Utah. My friend Woody lives out there in Heber City. I've been out there on snowmobiling multiple times. Would love to get back there. I would tell Heather I want to go back.
I've been to Vegas.
You've been to Vegas?
I got married the first time.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
And I got married at the Little White Wedding Chapel. Not even kidding.
Holy shit.
Yeah, who knew? I do.
Did you have the sunglasses on? The Elvis.
Well, I wanted to do that, but it was really expensive. So I rented a town car, and Sammy Davis Jr. was the guy that did the wedding. That's all I could afford then was Sammy Davis. I couldn't afford Elvis. I'm not even messing with you. I thought you guys knew that.
I did not know that. Heather didn't know either. Mm-hmm. Well, there we go. We all learned something.
Yeah.
Any plans on running the high limit race in PA?
The question is, any plans on running the high limit race in PA?
Where is it?
There's one at Grandview, and there's one in Port Royal.
I think Grandview would be a good one.
Yeah, I don't know just yet how that's all going to shake out with our schedule.
Port Royal would be more like an engine question. Like,
yeah, we'll have to see how things are going. I like Port Royal and Grandview. Grandview would be a middle of the week show. I'm sure it's probably like a Tuesday. It's probably one of their Tuesday high limit races. Possibly. It's not out. The answer to that is not a no. We'll have to wait and see. So.
Do you want to answer maybe 2 more of your questions?
Yeah. So let me just look through my questions here. So I went through all the, like I said, the YouTube videos and went through some of the questions. Have you ever tried racing on asphalt? Was one of the more popular questions.
Legally?
I have never raced on asphalt with the exception of racing like Allen's Cartway.
Yeah.
The indoor track, slick track.
I mean, we used to go to the circuit in New York all the time, but that wasn't legal.
So I never raced on asphalt. Dirt, only dirt.
How about follow-up? Did you ever race wingless?
Oh, Heather has a great smart-ass question over
is
here.
that the
Have
one
I
that
ever
Kutztown?
raced wingless?
Is that the Kutztown one?
So, no, she's trying to
bait you into something?
Well, so the question was, have I ever raced wingless? It's a funny question because I tried to race USAC. Let me back up here. USAC was coming to Central PA. This was back in 2012, 13, 11, I don't know. So I took the wing off
of your car.
Of the car. I went out to practice at Lincoln after the feature.
I can already know where you're going.
I crashed.
Yeah.
Heather. She's a smart ass. She thinks she's fun.
We're going to close her computer.
So no, I never raced.
At least didn't biff the wing.
I didn't technically race wingless. I crashed wingless.
You just
I didn't race
get the day
anyway.
over.
Oh,
yeah, you and Jesus were out there.
Bad. I mean, when I was crashing, it says Lincoln Speedway in turn 3, and I read every single letter the whole way until I hit it. LINCOLN crash. That was it.
What's your dad say to you about that one?
He said, "You're going pretty fast when you got in that turn." I'm like, no shit. It didn't slow down much. And it all slowed down once. It was bad. Oh, so bad. All right. Any more questions from the audience, Heather? Let's see here. So one of the funniest questions, I'll wrap this up, or one of the funnier questions I found as I was going through this was when we did this studio, released this on our YouTube channel, I said it's kind of like Wayne's World Studio, part-time, excellent. And then one of the questions on that was, will Heather wear a red dress and play a guitar?
Oh my God!
What the hell?
Like Wayne's girlfriend. Yeah,
I mean, I have somebody that'll play the.
Heather, what will you play? Will you play guitar and wear a red dress?
I have somebody that'll play the banjo.
Oh boy!
That's all I'm gonna say, Courtney.
Oh, I don't think Heather plays any instruments. I'm aware
we
of.
can get her to play the jug. Well, Courtney's.
My answer would be, I'm a dork. I'm a nerd.
So, Heather's answer is she's a dork. She's a nerd.
So
she's not gonna play the guitar. So.
I mean, got any money?
I thought that was a funny question. So, well, I think that's we good. We got any more comments there? We're good. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully, This went well. I feel like I had a good time. You have a good
I think
time?
I was PG.
Yeah, you did good.
Took everything I got. But
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. There won't be a show next week. Maybe the following week we'll try and get back on here, and we'll bring you some more shows. We'll let you know what's going on. Happy New Year 2024.
I don't say stuff like that.
And thanks again. We'll
Have a good day. There, is that good?
We'll see you next time.
Donnie shots.
Nasty Nate.
Donnie shots.
Blank a doodle doo.
Rooster.
All right, I ended it. Stop this.
You're right there.
Yeah, I know. I kept looking at